Welcome to International Racing League Season 6, Round 10 at Abu Dhabi. This is the F1 tier. I am now joined today with my co-commentator, Nexus Aspect. As you guys know, in the IRL F2 Championship, he's second currently. So introduce yourself, Kevin.
Hello, my name is Nexus Aspect, and today I'll be co-commenting with Jared.
Giving him an attempt today to be my co-commentator, so he may be in next week's video and for all the videos to come. I'm going to go down the driver standings, and then Kevin's going to go over the constructor standings, and then we should be going underway into the lobby. As you can see already, we've got a decent turnout this week. We've got 15 drivers of the F1 tier, as we've got 2 new drivers who I also will introduce when qualifying is about to begin. So no further ado, in the lead still is Matthew Alder with 142 points. In second place is Mark SB in the Haas F1 team with 112 points. Third is still Jay in the Red Bull Racing with 81 points, but Louis caught up a bit into fourth place now with 77 points. Brandon Glover is in fifth. I believe he has moved up a position above Can, 65 points. Can is in sixth with 50 points. Cameron Young has moved a lot way through the field to seventh with 48 points. Sondre Sorhaug's dropped 2 positions, it looks like. He was sixth, and he's now with 43 points in eighth. Harrison Seeley, who's now a reserve, is in 9th with 36 points, and the defending IRL F1 champion from last season, Jack Hoyle, is still 10th as a reserve with 33 points. So now, Kevin, could you go over the constructor standings for me, will you, please?
Yeah. In first we have Renault with 185, 25 points ahead of Haas F1 team in second. Alfa Romeo with a little bit further off the leaders in third. Red Bull Racing is in fourth. Mercedes is in fifth. Racing Points 6th. Toro Rosso Honda 7th. McLaren is 8th. Ferrari 9th, and Williams down in 10th.
Well then, thank you for that. My apologies with the spelling. I'm not the best spelling for that. That is my bad. I will hopefully, Sondre or I, get that fixed for the end of this video. However, the 2 new drivers who I'm going to introduce now, just give me 2 seconds while my notes load up, is Diego Zingina, I can't say his last name, so I'll just call him Diego. He has joined the Alfa Romeo team, so he's teammates with Louis, and the Williams team I've got Lewis Curtis. So 2 very quick drivers, I believe, have joined some very good teams. Well then, it's good that I've got game sound, so we don't have to leave and rejoin. So just make sure everything is set up. Well then, qualifying prediction. I'm going to go with Matthew Alder in pole, Louis in second, I think Edward in third, and fourth place I'm going to give it to Cameron Young. I think that's going to be the top 4 in qualifying. What do you think there, Kevin, with the qualifying prediction?
I am going to go with Lewis to take pole. I'm gonna go with Matthew for second, Cameron Young third, and we'll go with Rob Forbes. I'm not sure his actual name, but
it's Caden. His actual name.
Caden. Okay, I'll go with Caden fourth.
He's also a new driver as a reserve today. As I think Louis is the first one out on track on a set of soft tyres. Sterling's also out on a set of hards. I do believe it is a 2-stop strategy, soft, medium. I could be wrong there. I haven't really paid any attention with tyres around this track, so...
Yeah, you would be right in saying that soft medium.
So I am right then.
It can be soft medium as well, but I think standard is soft medium. So.
Right, I do apologise. Yeah, I know, Matthew, I know, I can't I can't edit it right now because my computer's switched off. If I switch my computer on, the stream will just die for some reason. But hopefully, Sondre, you can get that fixed. But enough of that. We're going to stay on board with Louis, who's about to come up into his qualifying run. Well, today he beat Matthew. Well, actually, it don't actually look like he is the first one. Actually, I'll have a look, see if it's... It looks like it's teammate, actually, Diego. So we'll go on board with his teammate. Actually, there's also a McLaren there. I think it's actually Lee. My apologies there. So Lee Kelly will be the first one to go across the line on his qualifying lap. Nice and tidy through the first set of corners. He's coming up into the chicane now as he is. Goes into third gear and hits the curbs. Nice and tight there from Lee. Not really pushing that much in that section now. He's got to get this hairpin correct. There is a Renault ahead of him, so he's going to get a little bit of slipstream. I've got to say though, Kevin, Lee's been proving himself lately that he's got the pace to match some of these guys. Not the top guys, but he's managing to get some good results. He's had a few DNFs. What do you think Lee could do today?
Well, I'd say he could certainly get some points. I haven't really been following F1 too much, so I'm not completely familiar with like everyone's pace. But I'd say he could be up there, probably top of the midfield. Obviously, he can be quick on his days, so yeah, we could see good things from me, I think.
Yeah, he's still a youngster. He's one of the youngest guys in this division, and he's got a lot of talent on him. So he's got a lot of pressure as well, though, which has been shown recently. He has been battling under the pressure, but currently on this qualifying lap, Lee looks confident. And it's been a clean lap, as I've seen. As I'm about to go on board with Diego, as Lee Kelly is going to cross the line, is going to be invited, but the provisional lead currently is actually Canada, 135.1, but Louis beats that with a 133.2. Cameron Young in second place with 35 flat, so a few seconds off the pace. I don't know if these guys are on bankers, as Sterling's in fifth now with 140.8, and Brandon is on hards with a 137 flat. So I think some banker laps have been set, as we're going to go on board with points leader Matthew Alder in the Renault. He's currently got a bit of traffic ahead of him. He's got the McLaren, and I believe that is a Toro Rosso, oh sorry, no, that is a Williams ahead and a Racing Point behind. So hopefully the McLaren could get out of the way unless he is on a lap. But I've got to say though, Matthew has been very consistent all season long. He's had a few shaky races with not getting a podium, but at the start of the season I believe he had 6 podiums, like for 6 races, like a 6 podium streak, which has managed him to get a lot of points and keep the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, in the first 3 rounds as well, he took 3 poles in a row as well, so could be well, he is. He certainly will be a contender for pole today.
Be a contender for pole. He'll be a contender for the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors with his teammate currently, who hasn't done a lap yet, who is on a lap, who is feeling confident as well around Abu Dhabi. I haven't seen any of his lap times, so it could be a surprise to see where Sondre will be. But what about Matthew Alder? He's currently 3rd place at 134.3, so 2 tenths off for Louis right now, as Nino, I've just noticed, is in 4th with 34.9. As we're going to go on board with Edward, who's on a set of hard tyres in the Ferrari, so hopefully Ferrari can score some points this week. I believe they didn't score any last time. Hopefully they don't have a little mishap like the actual Ferrari drivers that did at Brazil with Vettel and Leclerc. But we'll have to wait and see as Edwards coming to the final sector. Sondre's done a very good lap, 134.5. He's 2 tenths off his teammate. Now I don't know if Matthew is doing a banker, but that is a decent lap from Sondre. He is at a second and a bit off Louis, but to be 4th currently right now is very good, as Edward does a 36.7 on a set of hard tyres, the fastest hard runners as the moment. As we're going to go on board, one of the new drivers is Curtis, who's currently in the Williams, also on a set of hard tyres. Now I highly doubt it, but do you think there's possibility of rain in the race?
Abu Dhabi, obviously it's a desert, so I wouldn't say that there's a high chance of rain. If it did rain, I'd say it wouldn't rain for very long as well. I'd say it's unlikely, but certainly possible. Rain has been here before, so yeah, I'd say it's unlikely for it to.
Just give me 2 seconds, mate. It's DHAB. If you can give a qualifying run on Curtis's lap right now, mate, would be great for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what turn this is, but it looks pretty hooked up, obviously on the hards, so most likely we'll be going on to a softer tyre at the end. Seems to just be trying to get a lap in, so it looks like a banker coming across the line now, and it was invalidated. So no time.
So he's going into the pits. Okay, then let's go on board with TTG Thomas, who's in the Ferrari. I don't know his actual name. I think it is Thomas, but I'm going to call him Thomas for now. He's currently that actually might be Tom actually. But currently he's on a qualifying lap as we speak. Just letting you guys know, I have fixed the name now on the stream, so it should be spelled correctly now. My apologies again. But right now we're on board with Tom. He's looks a nice tight lap through the section we've seen him in. He's now in the fast double right-hander. You've got to get the braking point correct here, because you can run extremely wide, and if you do that in the race, you could possibly hit someone or crash into the wall. As we can see, nice and tidy, not really fighting the car, as I believe that is a Red Bull driver getting out of the way, and I believe that is Jay. As Jay will be a bit disappointed that his teammate isn't here today, as we've been told that he still can't race because his controller isn't working, but we will see Odums very soon when he gets a new controller. But currently Tom is in P2 with 133.8, still a bit off Louis, however, who's done a 133.2. So right now no one's really challenging Louis, and one of the reserves of Kanan, or as Rob on his PSN, is currently in third with 134.3, so quicker than Matthew and Sondre currently right now. As we're gonna go on board with Cameron Young. He has done a very brave tactic today. He is now officially no ABS, which he's still getting used to, and he's doing very well to keep up with his pace when he had ABS. He's currently P7 with 135 flat. I've got to say though, Kevin, it is hard people who use ABS and try no ABS, as I have felt no ABS and it isn't the easiest thing to do, but you've got to give Cameron the respect and everything like that to master it almost, and almost matching his ABS times.
Yeah, he's on some tracks. I've talked to him on time trial. He's been going quicker without ABS than with ABS as well, so he seemed to have done very well to turn it off and still be just as quick as he was before, or quicker at some points. So yeah, big respect to him.
As I am on board with Diego right now, who still hasn't set a lap, so it's Curtis, Lee Kelly and Jay and Diego currently right now who haven't set laps. Curtis and Jay on the set of medium tyres right now, so they're going to go and see what they can do on that pace. And Lee and Diego, as Brandon is out, so Brandon is either crashed out or he's retired to try and get a free choice of tyre. Did I still spell it wrong?
I'm not sure where he went off. I'm not sure.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Have I still spelled it wrong?
Yeah, that was a Williams of,
yep.
I think that was Sterling? No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Lewis. Lewis had a crash with Bran, and that put Bran out of the race, or out of the quali.
So one of the new drivers has already come to blows.
So that could be looked at after the race, because Lewis was Bran was in the wall and Lewis was kind of caught up with him, couldn't move because of Bran right in front of him in a wall. So yeah, looks like a crash between them two that put Bran out.
Well, thanks for the information there, Kevin. As if you want to go and select a driver and tell me who you want me to go on board with.
I'm not currently watching anyone, but It looks like Matthew Alder has just started a lap.
Okay, we'll go on board Matthew Alder then for me.
2 S's, obviously flat out through here. Now, you have to get the curbs right here. He seems to have kind of avoided them a little bit, so a little bit conservative maybe. Out of the hairpin, he didn't go on to first gear. You certainly can do that for a little more turning, so obviously he decides that second gear might be quicker. Now down the straight, and actually it looks like he's backed off.
And yes, he has. He is in zero
actually
RS.
he's run out of fuel, has he? He has.
No, he hasn't.
So he might have been on an inlet.
He is on an inlet, but he hasn't run out of fuel because he's accelerating a lot quicker than what you would if you run out of fuel. So he's not on a lap. Sondre is also not on a lap. Let's go on board with... Wow, Edward's done 4 laps on those hard tyres. He's in the pits now, and there's only 4 minutes 52 seconds remaining in the session, as is yellows in sector 2. Now that might be Matthew. I don't know. There is some yellows or something, as I've just noticed. Diego's P3, and it's Louis. Louis has took the escape road and trying to overtake his teammate cheekily into the pits. As he does so there.
Yellow flags, I think, are for Matthew, by the way, because once Matthew got in sector 3, there were sector 3 yellows. So.
Yeah, it was also because of Louis as well. He was off the track in the final corner and cheekily got ahead of his teammate into the pits. Diego will be a bit annoyed that his teammate has got ahead, but it is racing. I've had it before with Paco Suarez last season. And the only 2 drivers currently out on track on laps, I believe, is Curtis and Sondre. However, Rob, Can and Sterling. Now I'm going to see who's ahead of who. So have a look at Rob. Rob's in the chicane sector 2, and Can's approaching the final sector, and I believe that is Sterling. No, Sterling's a bit far out, so it goes Can, I think, Sterling, and then Rob. So we're going to stay on board with Can and see what lap he can do today on this set of soft tyres. I've got to give Can some credit as well. He's been up against all the odds to score some points against some of these drivers, and he's been getting some 5th places, some 4th places now and then, and just scoring points consistently. So I've got to give some credit for not giving up and just pushing 100%. As nice and tidy there through the first chicane there, nice and wide entry in. As we're going forward, a TV pod view into the hairpin. Goes in second gear, not the first. I think that's a bit slower. Maxton now trying to get build as much speed as he can. Almost pushing 200 miles an hour down the main straight. Let's see what top speed he can hit on this straight till he breaks. 205 miles an hour into the next chicane. Got to get this right with the traction. Perfect there for Can. As he's now approaching the very easy section to invalidate, because one little error can invalidate it through these corners, but it's basically straight but corners coming into a little kink of a turn. I don't know what turn that is. As we're now going through the fast right-hander. Nice and tidy from Can. Oh, that could be game over. That could be invalidation, and it may be. So I think that is game over. As Kevin, can you have a look at Rob while I go on board with Sterling? Actually, no, Sterling's in the pits. Actually, I'll go on board with Jay while you go on board with Rob, if that's okay. As I've just noticed, Matthew and Sondre eventually did get past Rob, as Jay is on a lap, just got ahead of the 2 traffic from Curtis and a Haas driver. I believe that is Cameron as he yells in sector 1 and 2.
Rob puts it up into P4 with a 34.1.
Good lap there from Rob, currently 4th place. It's very close at the top right now, from technically 2nd place to 7th, as Can has also called it a day. I think he's crashed out, I believe, in sector 2. So 2 attempts already, and the only 2 people who haven't done laps yet is Lee Kelly and Jay Drawbridge. Jay Drawbridge is currently 3rd in the drivers' standings. Haven't had the best season as far as he looked very fast in the first part of the season, and now we're approaching the halfway. This is where Jay needs to put his head down and start scoring big wins to try and catch up with Matthew Alder, and he's actually invalidated on his lap, and I think he's going to save fuel and go for another run. However, Lee is on an out lap, so he isn't on a lap yet. So how about Diego? I believe he is on a lap, just starting a lap actually, in fact. And he's going to go into turn 1 and 2. Got to get this right. It's easily to lose the back end and spin out into the wall. As Kevin, if you want to go and commentate over his lap.
Who's
Diego on
Diego?
P3? Yeah, Diego.
Yeah, coming out of the hairpin, he goes down to gear 1, which should in theory be the quicker way with a little bit more turn-in, as we've yellow flags in sector 3. Coming into this next chicane, takes a little less curb than I think he could have there, but it looked pretty tidy. Now, once again, just coming down another straight, now braking for this tricky section of the track that's, of course, very easy to invalidate at. He's actually taking that very well. Now a little kink, accelerating through this double right-hander, as it seems like there must be some sort of crash in the third sector, but we'll stay on board. As Licky blocks, or Lickle goes 5th. Diego around the final corner, coming up to the line and puts it in P2 with a 33.8.
As we'll go on board with Matthew Alder, as a great lap there from Diego, puts him P2. So currently right now, the new teammate for Alfa Romeo, 1 and 2. And that car, the reason why there was yellow flags there, Ken, it was actually, it looked like Jay crashed out where the left hand corner before the double right-hander. It looked like he ran straight on and just hit the wall, so I believe that's why the yellow flags were there. As Matthew Alder's now coming across the line very shortly, as we'll go on board with Sondre very shortly, as here comes Matthew Alder now through the final corner. What time is it going to be? Is he going to take pole position? He takes P4 currently right now. What about Sondre? Sondre is currently down on his time, so it looks like no improvement this time, and he stays in P6, I believe, or P8 on his wheel. So the Renaults did a bit better in qualifying this week. As we've noticed, they've had a few pro qualifiers and a few pro races. However, yeah, Kevin, if you want to go down the top 10.
Yeah, just a small thing for Matthew Alder's lap. It looks like he did make a mistake in the part of the track where it's easy to invalidate. So that might be why he wasn't as much up there as he could have been. But it's Louis on pole today, ahead of Diego and Thomas, who rounds out the top 3. Matthew Alder is in 4th. Hayden is 5th, Little is 6th, Lee in 7th, Sondre 8th, Khan is in 9th, Lewis 10th, Neil 11th, Cameron Young is in 12th, Harrison is in 13th, Brandon Glover in 14th, who retired from the session earlier, and Jay in 15th, who didn't get a time in.
So there is your top 15 there, as we're getting ready for the race. And before, while everyone picks their strategies, race prediction, I think Louis is going to win now, with Matthew in 4th. If Matthew can stay at contact with any of the drivers into turn 1 and turn 2 and 3 and 4, he's got a good chance to catch up with Louis. But if Louis gets a good start, I think Louis will win with Matthew in 2nd. And I think Diego's going to get P3. And 4th place, I think it's going to be Nino. But what do you think with the race prediction?
I'd need to see the grid again, because I'm not 100% sure where everyone's starting.
As we're waiting for the countdown.
I think that Matthew is going to win. If he gets a good start, then I'd say he could get a position off the line and then be close at least to Lewis. And I think that he could make up that gap and end up winning this race. I think Lewis will get 2nd. I will go with Thomas in 3rd, and I'll go with Hayden in 4th.
So then you have your top 4 there from Kevin, a bit different to my prediction with my top 4, as this is the first time I believe in IRL it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2 currently, with Louis in pole position of course. Will Louis look for his 4th consecutive win this season? Every race he's entered, he's won a race. He's like one of the F2 drivers. Unfortunately that streak got actually no, I don't believe that streak. Yes, that streak did get defeated by Eric in F2, who every race he entered he won, and then Kevin won at Bahrain last 2 weeks ago, as after we had that week break. So we are getting ready with the Alfa Romeos in 1st and 2nd. Tom is in 3rd, Matthew Alder in 4th, Rob in 5th, Edward P6th, Lee in 7th, Sondre in 8th place. Hopefully he can get a good start, stay out of trouble and get a good finishing position. Can in P9 and Curtis on the set of medium tyres in P10, as Nino Romanello has gone on the hard tyres. So it looks like Nino's going to try a one-stop strategy here in 11th. The only guy on the hard tyres. Cameron Young in 12th on the set of mediums, Sterling in 13th on a set of softs. So Sterling, watch out for, he is going to be very quick with those tyres. Brandon and Jay on a set of mediums, covering up the back of the grid.
Yeah, starting on the hards, I do know that the one-stop can be competitive, and obviously him going with the hards, he's going to have no problems with tyre wear, so we could see Nino coming back right at the end. I'm not sure if it's a hard medium or hard soft. I'd say it would be a hard soft, so watch out for Nino. I think that he could come through the field today.
Well then, before we get lights out, Kevin, I am going to ask if you can look at the back of the grid when the lights are about to go out and watch for turn 1 at the back, as I'll stay on the front so we can get any incidents in the race at start if needed footage. Yep. Just in case if something goes wrong, as I don't want this camera view, but for some reason the game is deciding to give me this camera view temporarily. Oh, as Matthew Alder did say, Brand crashed himself.
Is glitched, I think.
Is it? Is it fixed?
Not for me.
Where is it saying he is?
For me, he's not on the grid. But
as lights out and off the way we go. It looks like Louis had a good start, but so is Diego, and Diego's going to try and go on the inside. Louis cuts him off before the move is attempted, as Diego's now got to watch out from the Ferrari, and Matthew Alder in P4 avoided contact. Edwards had an excellent start in P5, but he's got Rob in 5th. Sondre has had a good start as well in P7. Lee in 8th. Curtis is moved to position, battling with Lee Kelly for P8. In 9th place currently, Can is in 10th, Cameron Young P11, Brandon in 12th, Sterling 13th, Jay 14th, and Nino on those cold hards in P15th. As this battle's all over the track.
Me, Curtis's car is just glitched. It's saying for me that he's last, but he's not. So
is it showing him first by any chance though, ahead of these guys, or is it showing
him first at the start as well? It's his car for me is glitched.
Alright, at the moment he's currently P10 right now, so don't worry about that. I'll keep him board with that, as Matthew Alder's making moves quick and fast. He's already on the Ferrari driver of Thomas, because currently the top 3 is Ferrari engine powered, but Matthew is cutting a halt to that in the Renault, currently P3 right now. Can I ask, did you catch on board with Nino?
Yeah, at the start I saw someone get wing damage, but I can't exactly pinpoint who it was. I haven't seen anyone with wing damage, but someone down the back certainly did get wing damage. I'm not 100% sure who it is, as I said though, so I'm still looking to see who it is. But in general it seems alright.
It's currently our championship leader is currently in P3, and he's a bit under pressure right now, and looks like the Ferrari drivers have started to pick up their momentum and in good positions right now, currently 4th and 5th, and I wasn't really expecting this. Ferrari versus McLaren yet again, but right now it's very close, and Alfa Romeo are doing great right now, 1st and 2nd, with a bit of a gap now to Matthew. As Louis got a bit of a gap actually to his team at 1.4 seconds, and Diego's got a gap to his teammate. Oh, and there is a battle further down the grid, and it is Cameron Young and Lewis Curtis. Haas versus Williams. Something I'd love to see in real life F1, but Unfortunately, we don't get this. As currently we are on board with Cameron right now. It looks like he's going to go on the inside. Is he going to go for a lunge? No, he doesn't. He buys his time. Oh, almost rear ends him there. As there's Eric in the chat. Let's go, champ. And I don't know who he's cheering on for, but he's giving some support. As Jay has moved up to P13th now from 14th place, battling with Sterling. So Sterling hasn't really had a good start on those set of soft tyres, and there's battles all over the track. Sterling versus Jay versus Brandon and versus Nino Romanello for P12, not even a points position, and we're already having 4 cars scrapping for points. Back to the front, however, we have got Matthew Alder in attack mode. He is all over Diego right now. He can almost taste that P2 position. As you can see, he has to watch out though. Thomas is right behind him in P4. He's made a little mistake there. But currently right now, the leader, Louis, sets a new fastest lap, 138.1, and no one else at the moment has matched that time. As Curtis is in the pits, so it might have been him there, Kevin, who got a bit of front wing damage and has dropped back to P15.
This is just weird. For me, he was like, his pit limiter was on and his tyre switcher was flip colour. Because yeah, he got his tyre change, but I can't see that because his car's behind where it actually is for me. So his tyres literally just flipped the colour, and that was that. And when he got to the pit lane, he just kind of drove through it.
Well, it's currently right now Edward and Rob are having a battle now. Fry versus McLaren. Not really in a championship fight, these two. Not yet anyway. Edwards did get a win, I believe, in Monaco his first round, and then unfortunately his wheel broke, I believe, mid-race. And no, after that race I believe his wheel broke and he won that race. But he has come back. He has returned after a few weeks off, and currently he hasn't lost any pace really. He's currently in P6 right now, and he's battling in between Rob and Lee Kelly, as Brandon, Sterling and Jay are still battling it out for that. It looks like actually Brandon's got damage, it looked like there. No front wing damage actually. It just looked like he was dropped really off the pace. He might have ran wide, but currently the Mercs are 30th and 14th.
Yeah, he's also on the hard tyre, don't forget, so it would be a...
No, he's on the mediums.
Oh no, I'm looking at Nino.
Yeah, I was going to say. But yeah, both Mercs are doing interesting strategies, as Can has already peeled into the pits. Now, is this a scheduled stop? We'll have a look. Is there any wing, or is he on hards? Are the soft tyres giving up already? And it looks like a two-stop strategy. He's on another set of soft tyres. So if they're only going to last 4 laps, that is very worrying for me for tomorrow. But it's going to be very worrying for the drivers who are currently still out right now, as Louis still leads with a 2.8 second gap right now, a massive lead to his teammate, and Diego is pulling a masterclass defensive job to help his teammate out, to stop him getting caught by Matthew Alder, who's currently P3 right now.
Yeah, Matthew Alder all over the back of Diego at the moment, and it looks like he didn't even get a better exit or anything there. Even with DRS, he's not able to get close enough for a move. So this is only helping Lewis out front right now, and currently it's 3 second gap.
I do agree there, but I definitely tell you what it won't be helping. It will not be helping Matthew Alder's engine or tyres. His tyres will be going through the roof very soon. And I think Diego's actually running low downforce, as you did say. He wasn't even catching up with DRS. So it looks like Diego's running a lower downforce, and that is affecting Matthew right now. However, he should be still a bit happy. He's up a position from where he started. He's in P3 right now, so you can't knock it that much. He ain't going to lose the championship lead. He has got a big gap to Louis, so however, Louis still in the commanding lead right now, 3.3 seconds now. So Louis finding the pace on those soft tyres, as nobody else has peeled into the pits. And we're going to go on board with a battle for P5, which has been going on for a while. A Ferrari versus 2 McLaren drivers. Don't count Cameron Young or Sondre out of that battle, or Jay, because they are slowly catching up. So this may turn into a 5-way scrap for P5. And as currently Can's got a 3 second time penalty added to his time. Got to say though, Kevin, what did you rate Rob's drive? And actually, I've got to cut you off before you even answer that question. Lee was going for a very unexpected lunge on Edward there into the hairpin.
Yeah, and that will give Lickle worst exit, and he might be going for another move here.
As Lee's now trying to go on the inside of Edward now. Lee is getting really feisty and unfortunately loses out this time, but now Cameron Young is on the outside on a set of medium tyres. Look at him go. The grip he has on those tyres compared to those softs. Will Cameron make two moves on Edward? But no, Lee's still down the inside. Oh, a bit of wheel banging there. Cameron gets ahead a little spit and he's through. What a move from Cameron. I know I've seen a move go wrong there from last season IRL F2 with Tim and Nino Romanello. But as I was saying, how do you rate Caden's drive as who's currently in P5 right now?
Well, I mean, at the moment, he's been defending very well. I mean, he's kept this P5 for quite a bit. Yeah, he is dropping off.
He's coming into the pits.
There's actually a few of them pulling to the pits. But yeah.
Oh, he's got a 5-second penalty added to his time. He'll be furious with that. That could let him down later on in the race. So he's now got to put the hammer down on those next set of tyres. Sondre's also in, so Sondre's doing a very early stop than what his teammate would have done, and they're both on the medium tyres, so they're going the slowest tyre in the second run as there's yellows in sector 1 and 2, and it's Nino. So we'll go on board with, oh god, there's Curtis, gets jumped by these two, and actually Nino manually retires, and he's killed Edward. He has killed Edward there. Edward will be furious. I don't know what Nino was doing, and that possibly will be a penalty added to Nino Romanello, as you're not really allowed to return on track. His car
had been retired before then.
Yeah, but you're not.
I think he manually retired, and that's why his car was on the track.
That's what I mean. That could be a possibly penalty for Nino, because he's not really allowed to do that. But it's unfortunate for Edward, as he was the innocent bystander. As Sterling's just got a 3-second time pin as to his time, as we got footage of that big crash there. I don't know what Nino was doing. I don't know why he retired. He looked confident in the race today, and he's just lack of concentration, and he's ruined somebody else's race. But currently right now, Lee's looks like he's actually lost a position between Jay. So currently Lee's in trouble right now. If he can't get his soft strategy to work, he's going to lose a lot of time from Jay and Cameron, as now Lee pits as Nino has left the session. But yeah, I'll understand Edward's frustration with Nino. But it happens as Matthew Alder, I've just noticed, has pitted, and so is Louis. So let's see where they're going to come out of the field. Are they going to get jumped by anyone? And I don't believe they're going to get any traffic really. Matthew and Louis are in clean air, as there's yellows again in sector 1 and 2. And that is Sterling. Sterling is off the track where Nino manually retired. Now, I don't know, there's this wing damage of somebody's Ferrari, it looks like. I think that's off Edwards' crash car with Nino Romanello. As Curtis right now is in a bit of trouble right now. He's got a bit of pressure behind him with Rob. Rob's on the freshest set of tyres and done less laps, and is already faster than Curtis in the softer compound of tyre in the Williams. As I can understand there, Edward, you'll be furious with that. I don't know what Nino was really doing. But never mind, you've still got next week. Just think about the next race. It will be investigated if you have footage, of course, so because we can't use stream footage. But if you've got footage, please send it to me, Kevin, or as next suspect, Sexa, Sondre, or Paco. As Curtis is giving Rob a bit of
Diego
battle.
Should be boxing this lap. He's obviously on his way from
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I just jumped off Lewis to go on Diego, and it looks like he touched Rob's left rear, and he is out, and he's also manually retired on the race, and luckily no one's behind him, so it will affect him. As you're right, Diego is in the pits, so we'll go and stay on board with Diego, see if he's jumped anybody at the pits, and see if he's jumped Matthew Alder, and it looks like Matthew It's
Yeah,
just
Matthew's got a massive undercut on him there, and he is out now on a
Sondre.
provisional P2 or a net P2.
Sondre with the fastest lap, 138 flat currently right now on the medium tyres, and Matthew's done a very good undercut, and this is what happens if you stay out too long on a set of soft tyres. It's currently Sterling in P12 on set hards.
Something to note though, Diego came out on a set of softs, so he will be...
no, he's on mediums. He's on mediums.
Well, for me,
it's tyre, yeah, it's glitch through the thing. Don't know why it's done that, but any other than that, actually, no. I thought I saw something. As Brandon's currently in P4, still hasn't pitted yet. He's done 7 laps on those mediums. Let's see how long the medium runners can go, because currently right now the net leader is Louis, of course, and he's almost in range of Cameron and Jay. Now Cameron and Jay could be doing a one-stop strategy, and this could affect Louis. So Louis will have to get past him, excuse me, very shortly if they're doing a one-stop strategy. But we'll have to wait and see what the drivers do in the rest of the day.
Yeah, Jay and Cameron in these positions, if they can keep Lewis behind, they could put themselves in contention for the win here.
As we do have a 3-way scrap for P8 currently right now. Sondre versus Thomas versus Lee Kelly. Rob's got a bit of clean air, that 2-second gap buffer as Lee's going another aggressive lunge on Sondre. These two have been fighting in other divisions and giving each other pain, everything, all over, having great battles. And Lee is not giving up. This youngster's got a lot of talent under the wheel, and he's just showing it, trying to go for aggressive lunges, trying to avoid contact and get past drivers as quickly as possible. As we can see, Jay is finally in the pits. So he's definitely doing a one-stop. So Louis got to watch out here, because Jay could pull off a masterclass and win this race on a set of hard tyres. However, we do know Louis, he is being quick and showing his true pace in qualifying, but see if he can put that into race pace and push, as Jay is in a bit of traffic now. He's behind Sondre and Lee Kelly, and these lot will be paying again. So Jay, in theory, doesn't really need a battle with them. He just needs to get past them as quick as possible and avoid being stuck behind them. So what do you think there, Kevin, with Jay?
Cameron also now under threat from
Matthew Alder.
Well, I mean, he could actually gain time from...
Sondre's lost position from Lee. Oh, Sondre's getting aggressive. Sondre wants that position back. Sondre's not letting the youngster take his P8 away from him. He wants more points than Lee. He's going on the outsides. We'll go on comment view from Lee. He's got the position, and Lee has got to give it up and try and see where he can get Sondre. And Jay is going to be loving this behind. He's got to avoid in case they have a crash. I know these two have been very aggressive on overtakes, and right now Sondre and Lee are showing a masterclass right now, as Louis just sets new fastest lap, 137.4, 6 tenths faster than Sondre there, as Cameron is finally pitted. Now what tyres will he be going on? And I don't think the undercut from Jay is going to help him out that much, because he's been behind traffic.
Oh,
it is actually.
For Cameron.
So Cameron's gone on a 2-stop. So Cameron's definitely doing the 2-stop strategy, and in my opinion, that could have been the wrong strategy. If he was going out that long, he should really go on the hards, as Jay's going to try that off.
Damage coming out of the pits.
Oh no!
Coming out of the pits.
He will be furious with that. As we'll go back on board with Jay, who's getting a good, lovely seat in the front row of popcorn, bit of Pepsi, of these two fighters, Renault engine cars, McLaren versus Renault. Reminds me of the 2006 season. Currently right now, Sondre and Lee Kelly are battling it out with two very fast cars. Lee's going for the dive. He's had enough of staying behind Sondre, and these two are going into the chicane. Sondre gets the inside corner. Lee's got to pay attention, get a good exit on the outside, and Lee is already done it, but he's low on ERS. 3-wide battle. Jay's going in the middle. We've seen people overtake in the middle before, and it's ended ugly. Jay's got past Sondre. Jay's got past Lee Kelly. Great move there from Jay, as Lee tried sneakily there to try and keep his inside wheel on Jay. Wasn't really alongside.
Sondre gets the position back from Lee going off track there as well.
I've got to say that I've got to give a bit of negative impact there to Lee. He was a bit too aggressive there. He needs to calm down a little bit. He wasn't fully alongside Jay, and Jay has done a masterclass getting past these two drivers.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, he waited. I mean, he was behind them, and he just waited for an opportunity, and he took it, and it ended up with a double overtake.
As the Mercedes crew is going on another set of medium tyres, so Brandon's going medium. Now, does that mean it's soft, hard now instead of soft, medium for the soft runners? Cameron Young has retired from the race as he's had enough. He is finished with today's race. As we've got one little tiny battle, actually no, we've got a big battle on track for P7 still. Sondre and Lee, and another battle between the other McLaren driver, Rob and Thomas. So there's a battle for P4 currently right now. Jay's built up a gap of 0.6 to Sondre, and that is going to be taken away very soon.
Jay will be in this fight for 4th place very soon, only 1.5 seconds back, and then he's also got Sondre and Lee obviously right behind him, so this could be a fight between, that is 5 cars for P4.
True though, I've got to ask you about Jay's strategy though, trying the one stop. Do you think it will work and he could possibly get a podium out of this or even win this race, or do you think it's going to completely blow up in his face and cost him a lot of positions and possibly a driver's standing position in the driver's standings?
Well, I mean, I think it's his strategy is the better one for him to be on. It's obviously going to put him, in theory, in a net lead. Of course, he's going to be getting held up by these cars. He just have to get past them, but he pit in front of Lewis, and this is obviously going to be an undercut because Lewis is still yet to make a second stop, so he'll put himself in the lead for sure, but if he can keep that lead is another question, because obviously Lewis will be on the softs right at the end. We're expecting to, so. Well,
the currently gap between Louis and Jay is 19.6 seconds, and I believe a pit stop round here is 22 seconds to 24. I could be wrong there. I could have got those numbers completely wrong. I've got to say though, there is a huge scrap yet again for Rob's P5. Almost a battle for P4 right now between 2 McLarens, 1 Renault, 1 Red Bull, and possibly 1 Ferrari. As currently right now, Jay is in hammer time mode basically right now on those hard tyres. He needs to push, and Jay is doing just that. He's now got to get past Rob as quick as he's possible. He is in DRS range, and Rob is not, and he'll go on board on a TV pod view. Let's see if he's going to go on the outside, and yes he does. Round the outside of Rob. Rob's trying to squeeze in, but it doesn't work. Jay has made another move into that corner, so it looks like that's his favourite position to make overtakes. And Jay is somehow finding that much grip on those hards.
Just got a 3-second time penalty there.
Ooh, that's very crucial in today's race. We're not going to look on Race Director for penalties because we don't want to spoil it for the viewers on the stream. But we'll now and then call out with the penalties, of course. But yeah, it's very interesting that Lee's actually got a penalty in that corner. It's very easy to cut those corners. As I did say in quali, you could easily invalidate it. And just remember, guys, Jay's currently P5, right? He started at the back of the grid, I believe, with no time set. So right now, he's definitely on the verge of drive of the day with Matthew and Louis for 1st and 2nd. But right now, Jay is overall winning the drive of the day from my eyes. As Can's peeled into the pits yet again. I don't know what strategy he was pulling, but I've got to give him credit. He's made 9 laps on those soft tyres. He's in P10th. Sterling's now going to take that position from him. We did have 15 runners. We only have now 11. As Edward is giving Sondre some
an overtake on Sondre. He has slipstream and DRS. Sondre will also get DRS off Caden in front of him. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it's enough.
Oh, Lee may go for an aggressive lunge though, and he doesn't. He stays behind him, but Lickle, as Edward is giving Sondre a bit of cheering on. He wants Sondre to do well, and everyone wants the Bottle Hog to do well. It's a new man this season. He hasn't bowled any races this season, as I'm very surprised. He is named the Bottle Hog, of course. But I've got to give credit with Sondre. He's found a lot of pace this season. As you can see now, he's currently battling in the McLaren sandwich. Rob, Sondre and Lee. And this was a 5-way battle earlier on before the first stops were happening with a few other drivers. And I believe 2 of those drivers are out of the race. As right now, Sondre runs a little bit wide, and Lee's going on the outside. Oh, Lee's off the track a little bit, but he's still there. Sondre has to give him a bit of room, and there we go. Sondre does a very big mistake, but a very great defending line. And sorry to interrupt you, Kevin, but what were you saying?
Yeah, right now Lewis could come out behind Lee, looking at where he is. The gap currently 23.5 seconds, and as you said, I think it was a 22-second stop.
22 to 24, yeah.
Yeah, coming out of the pit lane will also lose you a small bit of time, so he could end up coming out behind this battle. And if Jay can get past Thomas quick enough, then Lewis will have a lot of work to do to get past all these cars.
I have to agree with you on that. However, remember, Louis, Matthew and Diego will be on the faster tyre compound at the end of this race. But you never know. Jay could pull something out of the bag and win by 28 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. You never know. As look how much ground Sondre gained then on Rob in the braking there. Great braking there from Sondre as he wants the position on the McLaren drivers. They're going wiggling on the track. Sondre going on the outside. Is he going to do a copycat of Jay? Rob this time tries to defend his inside. Oh, a bit of banging tyres. However, Sondre says thank you very much. However, that costs him with a 3-second time penalty added to his time. So there is the bottle coming back with the time penalties. However, he's now in P6 and Jay is now in the closing distance of Thomas now. 7/10 of a second. What the gap between him and the leader is 22.1 seconds. So right now he's in that my estimate of a pit window around here right now. I could be totally wrong. It could be an 18-second pit stop window around here. We just don't have that information currently right now. However, though, Jay is on a mission. He is flying on those hards, and I think he's pushing a bit too hard where he will not be able to make those to the end of the race. As now the McLarens are having a very good battle. I wonder if there's going to be any team orders between Rob and Lee Kelly, as Rob is a reserve and Lee is a full-time driver, as I believe Lee's team is actually Leon Bentley, but unfortunately he hasn't really made any of the races because he hasn't been able to make the time, so Rob possibly may replace Leon.
Just went quite wide at the hairpin. Will give him a slightly worse exit, but it looks like it hasn't really affected him too much. Obviously he's also getting DRS off Sondre still, so
yeah, I've got to give that.
He's able to keep the position, but a small mistake in the hairpin though.
Oh, hang on, we've got to go on board with Jay. Thomas is lagging a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't cost Jay any wing damage, and this is going to be good for Jay after a few incidents he's had has been costing him his race. And another overtake into that corner as Rob's lagged out of the session. That isn't good. Lee Kelly's going on the inside and gets past Rob's AI, so Rob is now in AI and Bran is going to be licking his lips for another 3 position and start to catch up on Rob very quickly. However, though, Thomas is currently, speaking about Brandon, he's going a bit too quick with a 3-second time penalty.
I was going to say,
as Thomas is now in P5 and Jay is in P4. That pit stop window is looking a lot nicer for Jay. 22.4 clean air now. This is where Jay has to build up his little gap he has over Thomas, or he's going to be in big trouble with Thomas, as Thomas is lagging a little bit. Obviously this doesn't affect his racing with any other drivers. Currently Sondre gaining a tiny bit also on Thomas.
Back in the section, so hopefully he can get control of his car quickly.
Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to cut you off there, Kevin. Diego is on board with Matthew Alder. Is Matthew got a problem? We'll go on board on the telemetry. Look how much ERS Diego's got compared to the points leader currently right now. Diego's saying thank you very much and taking that move quite easily, in fact. And I'm surprised Matthew didn't really defend actually harder. So has Matthew got some wing damage? Now, I'll be surprised if he has, as he made a mistake.
Doesn't look like it.
Or has the Renault got an engine problem? He's staying in 7th gear, and I don't understand why. I won't say it's a gearbox problem. I know you can get gearbox problems in multiplayer, as the Bottle himself has done that in practice lobbies at Bahrain and got a gearbox failure. So it is common. You can get it, as Lee has got past Sondre, battling into the skid. Oh, and Lee hit Sondre, and that is his own fault in my opinion there. Lee again coming to blows with the ball, giving Sondre a 3-second time penalty added to his time. So Lee needs to calm down.
Lee's got significant wing damage off that as well. His car kind of lost the rear. He lost the rear end when he was fighting him, and he hit into Sondre's car, so the left part of his wing is a little bit damaged there.
Sondre looks like he actually got a bit of damage actually as well, because he's pitting. Now, I don't know if this is a pit stop strategy or anything like that, but Lee is also in. So Lee, if Lee was actually pitting this lap, he will be a little bit happy. He's going to lose a bit of time with the front wing change, but
yeah, no wing,
he'll be happy with that.
Sondre's wing is fine.
Alright, so Sondre's going to get a bit of a gap now to Lee, and Lee is going to have to start putting the pedal to the metal, as we're going to go on board with Matthew Alder again. He's lost a lot of time now to Diego. Matthew must have a problem or something. As Eric says, he is very young, much to learn, still the young Padawan. Star Wars quote there from Eric there, classic Eric. And Paco Suarez says Jaraz, or as he's meant to say Jared. Of course, I think he's saying hi to me on the stream. I am joined as well, Paco, with Kevin, so you could say hi to Kevin as well. But with that wing damage from Lee, it's dropping to 10th place, and there's actually a close battle between Can, Lee and Sterling for 9th. So we may go on the board with that battle very soon, but Matthew's now starting to catch up again on Diego. But look at the ERS difference compared to Matthew and Diego. Diego's got a ton of ERS, Matthew has got hardly anything.
Yeah, with Matthew and Diego most likely going to be fighting as Lewis now comes in for his final stop. This could help Jay to actually get P2, because Lewis most likely on fresh tyres will be able to get past Jay pretty easily, but Diego and Matthew will be
Matthew's in as well.
10 seconds behind them once they pit.
As we're saying, actually, I may have got that pit stop actually completely wrong. Jay is not going to get Louis. Louis either pulled a bit of a gap. I said it was around about 22 24, possibly 20 seconds, but currently Jay is P3. Louis jumped him by a margin.
Yeah, Matthew actually is going to get an undercut on Diego once again. Diego staying out an extra lap, so this could see Diego lose a position once again. How
Diego maybe putting that to a masterclass strategy. He could be staying out a bit longer to go on a set of soft tyres. Now I know softs, we've seen Can manage to make him to lap 9. Now because you're on a lighter fuel load, you possibly could make him to lap 8. Good tyres. But it's going to be very risky, as right now Matthew is in P5, where I believe he qualified, and we're going to look at the positions gained in today's race. And the biggest winners currently is Jay, 12 positions gained, but the biggest loser who is out of this race is currently Edward with 8 positions lost. However, that was because of Nino's AI car taking him out. However though, Matthew Alder is in P5 with a 4-second gap. Oh, he locks up there.
Jay there.
Yeah, he's 6 seconds. He's actually basically 20 seconds off the leader, so at the moment Diego is in the lead. Jay will take net P2 right now, so Jay is going to start looking at his lips for a P2 position. If Jay steals this podium off Matthew, I'll be very surprised. Or Diego, as Diego is in. So will Matthew Alder get ahead of Diego, as there's no battles really on track, as we watch Diego come into the pits for a set of medium tyres. So another set of medium tyres onto the car, so he isn't going that long, as the Alfa Romeo team react to Matthew Alder and see how much Matthew's going to jump. This is going to be close between Matthew Alder and Diego, as Matthew just jumps him a tiny bit there, probably a few seconds. And there you have it. Diego now P5 has now got a big job up to do to catch up with Matthew Alder. But Matthew Alder could have been using CVRS, and he hasn't really. Not that much. As Jay is 7.2 seconds off at Louis. Louis is absolutely obliterating everybody at this track today. Currently the gap 7.2 seconds currently right now. And I believe the fastest lap actually is him. So he's going to get 26 points currently. So I believe he's on 77 points right now. As I'm just going to have a look on Discord to see if he has. So he'll be on 103 points after finishing this race. That may close up between him and Jay. Jay's going to get 18 points. And he will pass Jay, I believe, in the driver's standings there. I believe. As yes, he will by 4 points. So Jay, in theory, needs to win this race if he still wants to stay third in the drivers' standings, as Louis just sets a new fastest lap, 135.9. I've got to say, Kevin, Louis, Jay and Matthew have done very good, and Diego of course as well, have done a very good race today, pulling out from the midfield and just sticking to their pit strategy and race pace today. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. As that's Can, I think, yeah, he's getting lapped there. So yeah, something to think about, by the way. Thomas is still out. He's now holding up Diego. Matthew's just got past him, so that'll put an extra second or two between them. But yeah, talking about Matthew, Lewis and Jay, they've run really great races, and especially Jay, he's came from the back, he's now running P2, and he might end up staying there. The gap between him and Matthew, about 3 seconds, so we could see a fight between them. But yeah, it doesn't really look like any of them put a foot wrong, and especially Lewis, he's now 13 seconds in theory ahead, because Matthew's probably going to end up passing Jay, but if he does or not, we'll see.
Yeah, you're right there, and I've got to say, the reason why Can peeled into the pit, as it looks like yet again the youngster Lee Kelly has had a bit of contact with Can, as Can has manually retired. Yeah, he's manually retired the car. I think he is a bit frustrated and has got no motivation for the final few laps, so he will be annoyed with Lee Kelly. And as I've always said, if there's been an incident, report it to the admins and we'll deal with it. So Lee's been a bit of a trouble maker today. A bit of contact with Sondre, a bit of contact with Can. So yeah, it's Thomas is into the pits finally, so he finally calls it quits and pits in the pits, and so is Bran.
Yes, something to think about, by the way. Sondre is only about 3 seconds up the road from Caden, and Caden's now on fresh softs, so we could see right at the end Caden and Sondre fighting for P5.
Yeah, that possibly could happen. However, I think definitely Sondre will win that battle, because Caden's already done 3 laps on those tyres and 1 on lap 21, and I don't think they'll make it to the end, so he may pit again. However, though, I know a person who will make those softs last to the end is actually Thomas, because he's on a fresh set. And Thomas at the moment is the only one, and Brandon actually is the only 2 drivers who could beat Louis' fastest lap, which is currently a 135.9. Their fastest laps are 138.7 and a 138.4. So they're going to have to find a lot of time to try to even get that close. Around about 3 seconds right now.
Yeah, something. If
Matthew and
Caden
Jay
does actually.
Matthew has already caught Jay there, as you were saying though, Kevin.
Yeah, if Caden does catch Sondre, while his tyres are still good, they could have a fight, which could allow Thomas and Lee to catch up, because of course Thomas is on fresh soft, and a bit of fighting from the guys ahead could see him close that gap, so anyone really could be going for this P5 at the moment.
As I believe as Lee has made more contact or just lost control of the car again. Lee was having a very good race at the start and now is bottling under pressure. This is what the youngster does. He gets good qualifying results and he's not ready really to challenge with these guys, but he's got the pace and he's just not ready to like fully show it and relax.
Yeah, it looks like he might have just lost the car on his own. Yeah, actually, he has. Those tires seem to be lit up.
There is a 3 wide
no
battle.
Damage, but he's gonna have to pit. Those tires are very it seems.
As there is a 3 wide battle right now. Jay, Matthew and Diego. Red Bull Renault versus Alfa Romeo right now. So basically this is the constructors standings battle as well. As right now Alfa Romeo is going to win the team game anyway with 1st and 4th currently. As right now Matthew's not waiting and he's going on the outside to basically copy what Jay did to him. Jay did to his teammate, I apologise there, and Jay almost collides with Matthew, and Diego's not waiting either. Diego has got past, runs Jay a bit out wide, which is allowed in theory, as long as you don't put the complete car off the track. It is allowed, as now Diego will be now licking his lips on Matthew Alder to try and get Alfa Romeo's first 1-2 of the season. And do you remember, Matthew's got a 3-second time penalty. I don't know about Diego, and we will not find out till the end of the race. But as Can's now left the session, and it's unfortunate to see a driver leave after he's had a very good, it looked like a very good race, and just a bit of contact happened in between.
Yeah, don't count out Jay for this second place yet as well, because it looks like Diego does have a little bit more pace than Matthew at the moment. I mean, he's obviously on 1 lap pressure tyres as well, so if they fought a little bit, it'll certainly bring Jay right back into the fight, so any one of these 3 drivers could end up with second.
Yep, I do agree with that. That's very correct, of course. Depends how much they fight and how much they hold each other up, because currently right now, Louis, in theory, could pit again, go on a set of soft tyres and try and win this race. However, somebody has done that before, and I've got to name him, Paco Suarez. He did it to me last season and stole my win. But sometimes it doesn't always work out, as he also knows, in Singapore. But we have to wait and see what Louis does near the end of this race, because time is running out. Lap 23 at lap 28 with 28 laps. We've only got a few laps to go, as currently Diego's now still P3, right on board with Matthew Alder, as there is another battle. Oh, sorry, no, I apologise. I thought there was a battle further down the track. So this is the only battle currently on track, as Jay has dropped off quite a lot now, 2.3 seconds. So Jay's tyres are starting to go. But remember, these guys are on fresh, and look how close Diego is. He's a lot. Oh, Jay's got a 3-second time penalty. That's crucial, and that could cost him a podium. As now Matthew isn't been that well on ERS series. Diego's trying to go on the outside, it looked like they're into turn 1. Now, I've got to ask Kevin, do you think Diego is going to get the upper hand on Matthew, or do you think Matthew's going to stick to his guns and hold P2?
Well, I mean, right now Diego's obviously got more pace than Matthew. It looks like Matthew is struggling a little bit on those tyres as well. But yeah, I'd say it's certainly going to be a fight to the end. I don't think Diego will pull away. If he does get in front, of course Matthew will get to DRS and then he'll be challenging. So yeah, it'll be close, but it looks like Diego has more pace at the moment.
As speaking about his pace, he's on the outside of Matthew Alder. Lee Kelly is out. He has crashed. And is that in between the 90% rule?
Matthew had a massive lockup coming into the chicane there as well. But he's been able to keep P2 just about from Diego, who's still all over the back of him.
Just give me a minute.
When Diego's hit Matthew there, in the last corner, he got a better drive out of the corner. It seems like he took it a little bit quicker and he hit the back of Matthew. Matthew had to counter steer a little bit. So getting a little bit feisty between these two for this P2. But yeah, luckily no one's had any, or well, hasn't had too much of a problem, but yeah.
As right now I'm just working it out. For some reason my phone is being very stupid. Just trying to work out if Lee's in between the 90% rule. 2.8 up 2.8 times 9, 25.2. No, I don't think Lee is. Lap 25.2, well, 25 and a little bit is in between the 90% rule, but Matthew's still defending very well there from Diego. As we did hear, Diego did run into the back of him, as Matthew's aggressive defending on the inside, but Diego's not having it. He wants the outside line. He knows he's faster than Matthew Alder currently right now. Matthew locks up again. Matthew has been locking up on those tyres, so the mediums with no ABS users are not the best tyre to be on, as Diego is finding a lot of pace. Oh, Diego crashes! I don't know what he does there. Diego hits the wall on my screen and he's lost his front wing. This is what Jay needs. 3.4 seconds off, only a few laps remaining. He could catch these and Diego will be furious, as he has lost a big chunk of his front wing, possibly an orange wing right now. What do you think that is?
With that wing damage, though, he still seems quicker than Matthew, so Matthew looks to be struggling on those tyres quite a bit at the moment.
Oh, I've got to say that is a lack of concentration from Diego, and it does happen. You concentrate that much, you just lose the concentration and crash. And look at that, Louis, almost 20 seconds between Matthew and Louis right now. 20 seconds almost. Louis, I don't know what you've got in there, jet engine, nitros or whatever, but right now you're showing masterclass pace. Unfortunately, you still won't get driver of the day in my opinion, because Jay deserves it right now.
Lewis could almost pit on this lap and get
fastest lap. Well, yeah, because currently right now the fastest lap still is 35.9 to him, so he doesn't really have to worry about people going for the fastest lap now, as no one's really close enough right now, because we only have 9 finishes and 9 drivers who only score points. But you never know, Lee could actually score that point. I could be completely wrong with the math I did. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Is now Matthew Alder.
Damage, so here comes Diego once again into that chicane.
Diego tries to switch back.
Time, but he seems a lot closer.
Very aggressive there from Matthew, blocking his line a little bit, and great defending. Matthew is just... he may not have the pace, but the defensive moves he's going to get. Is Diego going to go for a lunge? No, he doesn't. He thought about it, but doesn't. The gap between Jay and Diego, though, hasn't closed. Still losing time, 4.8 seconds. So it's... the tyres for Jay are just shot. As you can see, it looks like a little bit blistered a little bit there on the left front and the right fronts there. So there's a little bit of tyre degradation right now. As Diego, it looks like Diego's faster in sector 1 and 3, but in 2 he's just losing a bit of time. I think because of the front wing damage. I think that'll be wrecking his tyres a little bit more than Matthew's now. Right now, lap 27, the penultimate lap for Louis. Sondre gets another 3-second time penalty added to his time. It's unfortunate there for Sondre. Is right now Diego's still in board this battle, and there's a battle slowly closing, it looks like, between Rob and Thomas. Rob's done 8 laps on those soft tyres, as you can still see the front wing of Lickle's car there. So unfortunate there for the Ferrari team. They've lost 1 car, and they've got 1 car in P6. They're still going to get some decent points today. I believe 8 points for P6. As right now,
Matthew,
Diego's dropped off a little bit.
Little update: Matthew has pretty much no ERS left, and this is why Rob is able to close up on the straight so much. Of course, he also has the benefit of DRS and slipstream. So I'd say that's the main reason that Matthew's not been able to pull away, despite having no wing damage, and like Diego behind him. But yeah, Matthew's got barely any ERS left, and he's having to run. He actually ran none on that last straight as well.
It's very interesting then. So there's Matthew. Matthew must have some battery problem or something, because Diego rear-ends him again. Matthew's braking a bit early for his liking, but he can do that. He can't brake too early because it's down the brake check, but he's braking within the limit and not giving Diego a bit of wing damage. So maybe that wing damage from Diego was actually from earlier, instead of when he hit the wall, which wouldn't have helped his wing. But this is it, the last lap. Louis, pole position. Looks like he's going to win. I believe this is 4th race he's entered. His 4th race in a row, and he's going to have 103 points to his name, and will take P3 in the Drivers' Championship. And right now, I'll add this up as well. So 26, add 15. It's 41. So 41. Add as can you go on board with the battle between Diego and Matthew? Yeah. While I just add all this up.
Doesn't look like Diego's going to be close enough. He has closed on that last straight, but this next straight you need to be a little closer than he is to be able to make an overtake. So it looks like Matthew has this P2 secured just about, despite all odds. He's also got some fuel problems, as does Diego, although that might just be the last lap. Yeah, Lewis is coming around.
Yep, I was about to say that.
Final few corners.
As Louis is going to win his 4th race in a row, have 103 to his name, and help Alfa Romeo in the constructors, and he will take the constructors to P2 now for Alfa Romeo Racing. It looks like with 161 points currently, it will be. Sorry, 162 there, as Matthew Alder is almost going to lose his P3. Will Diego do a lunge into the final corner? He looks like he's got a good run than Matthew. Will he go for a lunge? He thought about it, but Matthew, great defensive line, and Matthew's going to take P2. Third is Diego, only a few tenths off him. Jay is going to take P4, and I don't believe he's going to jump any of them. And no, he doesn't. He had a lot more penalties, and he goes to P4. Sondre will drop to P5. So great race there from Sondre, as I believe he's had 3 positions gained. Thomas lost 3 positions in today's race, but got P6. Oh, sorry, P5. Jumped Sondre by penalties there, so you'll be happy with that. And oh my god,
Sondre lost another penalty just there.
Position, yeah, he dropped to 7th. I think Brandon just jumped Rob and Sondre, which will surprise me, as I'm very surprised with that. But the race is over and done with. Alfa Romeo 1 and 3, and Matthew in 2nd. Matthew got a good result there, but Louis is the man on the top step of the podium. Now 103 points to his driver's standings, so he's now closing on Matthew Alder very quickly, and is closing up with the Renault team and the constructors very quickly as well. So Renault are going to have to keep their eyes open and watch out from Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, in the end, Sondre did lose another position down to 7th, crossing the line in 5th.
As Matthew's actually left the session, I believe he has to get going. But there you have it. Louis in pole position, Matthew Alder P2, Diego in P3, Jay in 4th place. Great drive from him, drive of the day in my opinion there in 4th. Thomas in P5, Brandon close to the driver of the day in 6th with 14 positions gained. Sondre in 7th, lost that position from Thomas and Brandon. 8th is Rob, also lost position from Brandon there. Sterling in P9. Now I don't know about Lee, as if he's going to get his point. I don't believe he will, because he didn't finish between the 90% rule on my phone calculation, but I could be wrong. Can in P11th, Cameron Young 12th, 13th is Curtis, and 14th is Lickle, and I believe 15th is Nino. They're your non-finishers. So it's been a very good race today, and I'm going to get the interviews done today as well. Hopefully some drivers can join.
Just a little thing to point out, Sondre ended up with 18 seconds of penalties at the end. 18.
Well, he is the known person for penalties. He has been disqualified from a few races, Monaco and Mexico, as we have seen him done before. However though, I am going to invite the top 3. So the top 3 was Louis, I believe. Hopefully he will join for an interview there quickly, and Diego and Matthew Alder, but I believe Matthew might have gone off, but I'll invite him anyway. And Louis, could you just read out Diego's PSN name for me, mate, please? Oh, you left. DDD. Hang on, I might have it here. Give me a second. I'm spelling it wrong. Do I have that? D-I-G-O. D-I-E-G-O. There we go, we got him. So I'll invite him also for an interview. May allow another drive for an interview as a one-off today.
Well, if that's going to be anyone, I'd go with Jay. But
unfortunately, Jay doesn't have a mic, so I can't go with Jay.
Okay.
That's the only problem. Just have to give it a bit of time, see if some guys do join. So I'll also invite the one-off driver today, and that is this person. Hopefully he does join. And funny Paco, Well, Louis, before I ask you any questions, I've got to ask, is your mic on always allow? Right, good man. Same with you, Matthew. Is your mic on always allow as well? Good man. Well then, Kevin, do you want to start off with Louis and ask him a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Louis, you obviously started pole. You got pole by quite a few tenths as well, so obviously your lap was quite good. Then in the race, you obviously pretty much controlled it from start to finish. So how was your race? Most likely a little bit boring, maybe?
The quali was a bit of a bottle. Last one I validated a 32.7, and then race had to get a good start to make sure I stayed ahead of my teammate and whoever was third. And then I tried in another league. I did the one stop from soft to hard. So in this league I decided to do the 2 stop soft, medium, medium, and it seemed to work out pretty good.
Yeah. You didn't really have much battles out in front. Was there any worry that you might lose the win, or were you quite comfortable?
I was a bit worried about Jay because he's quite quick, and then obviously Blizzard. But once I kind of had out ahead of Jay again, I thought it was game over as long as I didn't win it.
Yeah. The next race is Australia. Do you think that you could go for another win around there, or do you think you might be a little bit off the pace?
Hopefully there's a massive tornado and the whole track disappears somewhere. Give it a go.
Okay, congratulations on your win today, and good luck for next.
Well then, before I ask the next question to Matthew, just give me a second while I invite another driver. Oh, and okay, I also have to invite somebody else as well for translation. That's fine. There you go. Well then, Matthew, unfortunately it didn't come out as a win today. However, you should be happy with second place, with great defending drive between you and Diego. But before I ask you anything else about your race, what happened in qualifying?
I was just slow. I was slow the entire race, the entire qualifying. I'm probably lucky that I got P2 to be honest.
Yeah, I've got to say a little bit, you were a bit lucky there with Diego breathing down your neck. He was all over you. It looked like he actually was going to go for a lunge on the final corner, but great positioning of the car, and you held him away. But did you worry about another driver who unfortunately didn't get the podium today, finished in 4th place, Jay?
Not really, because I knew soft hard was the inferior strategy by quite a margin.
Well then, well I'm going to say what Kevin said earlier. The next track is Australia. Where do you think you're going to finish in that position, in that race? Do you think you're going to win, or...?
Depends. I might be able to. I don't know how fast I haven't done it in a while. I think I'll finish 1st or 2nd behind Louis, or 1st.
Okay then. Well, have you got any other questions you want to ask him, Kevin, dead quickly, or?
No.
Well then, thank you, Matthew, for joining us for an interview. Well then, one our other interviewer person, it is the Bottle Haug himself, with 18 seconds of penalties. I've got to say that is going to be eventually some world record for IRL, getting a lot of penalties and getting a few disqualifications. I'm going to let Kevin give you some questions to ask. So go on, Kevin.
Yeah. How was like something that I am interested in? How was your battle with Lee? Because you seemed to be fighting with him almost the whole race, and you did have a few interesting moments. So, do you want to tell us about your battles with Lee?
Sure. Well, I'll start with being honest. Like, I feel like I think you two both know that I wasn't too happy about his defending against me a night ago, so today I was pretty much not gonna show him much more respect than he showed me either, so it meant I would be defending hard against him, so I did so. Don't feel like I did anything against the rules, but I was trying to defend as hard as possible, not leaving him anything more than what I needed to.
Yeah, obviously some points got very close. Do you want to talk about your race in general, from start to finish? You also obviously gained 2 positions by the end, but penalties lost you to 2 positions. Yeah, how was your race?
Well, I mean, my race started off with being stuck behind both the McLarens, the Ferrari of Thomas, Lico. Unfortunately, Lico got caught out by Nino's Ghost, no, not Ghost, but AI car, which means that, well, I lost a good battle there. I was looking forward to that. But, yeah, after some time, I tried to just drive my own race after Lee. I don't know what happened to him that made him fall off so drastically and retire in the end, but then Caden did a strategy blunder going on the softs at the end way too early, so like I knew how fast those died off, which meant that I was pretty much alone and battling Brandon and Thomas for position. Well, kind of, I was never battling them, but I knew I had way too many penalties and I knew I had to have a gap. So I tried to just keep my pace up, which I feel like I did that pretty well for me today. Also managed to push just about enough to make myself be enough ahead of Caden on the finish line by a couple of tenths, I believe. So damage limitation in the end.
Yeah, obviously penalties did kind of take away from what could have been pretty good P5.
Penalty merchant.
Next race is Australia. How do you think you'll go around there?
I hate the track. I was in charge of this calendar. Why did I put it on? Well, I don't know. I absolutely hate the track. Never liked it. Not good for racing. Don't have pace on it. I'll probably be at the back. All the way at the back.
Okay, congratulations on your P7 and good luck for next week.
Well, thank you.
Well, hang on, before you scurry off, Sondre and Matthew, I've got to ask you one final question. How does it feel for Alfa Romeo Racing closing up on your constructors in points? I believe now are in second place in the constructors. Do you feel threatened by the 2 drivers of Louis and Diego? Oh, no. Matthew's been very bold and saying no. What do you think, Sondre? Do you think...
It's mainly because I don't care about the constructors enough.
What about you, Sondre?
Well, I believe my teammate can carry enough, and I think I can get some points at some tracks, and I think we'll be able to hang on to it.
Well then, thank you for your honest input and a very bold statement there from Matthew Alder. Well then, this has been IRL F1 Season 6, Round 10 at Abu Dhabi. Apologies again for the spelling mistake at the start of the stream, but I've been joined by Nexus Aspect as Kevin Harrison. He will be joining me hopefully for the rest of the season as an IRL F co-commentator. So I'm going to end the stream here and thank you guys for tuning in, and see you guys for tomorrow, I believe, for IRL F2 and IRL F3 at 4:30 UK time. So I've been your host, Neon_X_Rapid, that's Jared, and I've been joined by Kevin. If you want to say goodbye, Kevin.
Goodbye, guys.
Well, this has been it for IRL. See you guys tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. Goodbye.